Next, we'll look at some wall poses. You can do wall poses on any available wall you have at home. You're also welcome to lay on the floor with your legs on your couch in a more bent position. We're going to use the wall for today's sake. So first things first, Mariah's going to turn to face me and allow herself to get a little sideways. The easiest way is then to scoot sideways right up against the wall. Getting that hip as close to the baseboard as you can. Then she'll simply sort of guide herself down to the floor. Now there's no graceful way to get up the wall. This is just the best we can do. And then she'll extend her legs up the wall when she gets there. Now for most of us, there's going to be some shimmying and sort of finagling our way to get to the wall. Okay. Now Mariah has pretty open legs, but for many of us, we're going to need to keep our knees a little bit bent, and you might even need a couple inches between your butt and the wall. It's not imperative that your back side be right up against the wall. You're certainly welcome to have a little bit of space there. Okay. Now simply laying with legs up the wall is excellent for the low back. It relieves stress. It's good for allowing the blood flow to get to the brain. It calms nerves. So even if this is the extent of your practice, or lying with your back on the floor and your legs on your couch, that can be very good for many of us to do at home, especially when experiencing high pain. If we'd like to add on just a few stretches here, beyond legs on the wall, Mariah can take a hamstring stretch. So she'll begin by hugging her right knee into her chest, flexing the left foot and activating that leg. Good. You put your heel on the wall. And then turning the toes and knees to point straight ahead. You can straighten that leg out as much as you're comfortable with. Good. She's going to hug the right knee in, flex the right foot as well. Both legs are active. And even here, as we hug the right knee into the chest, she can also gently press away. Just a little bit of resistance. Good. And even here, rooting that right sit bone more towards the wall, pressing both sides of the butt back to the wall. From here, Mariah will go ahead and grab onto the back of her right leg, extending the heel towards the ceiling. Now for many of us, the leg will not get anywhere near straight, and it doesn't need to. Jamming up the leg and making it straight often just puts strain in the low back. So she keeps the foot flexed, she's pressing the heel towards the ceiling and hugging the leg into her core. Be sure to breathe here and be really mindful about making sure you're taking care of yourself, that we're not working too hard, that we're not forcing our way through. You're welcome to stay in this pose for several minutes. As long as it feels good, you can always take a break. And allow yourself to feel a little bit of discomfort. There should definitely be some stretching sensation. From here, Mariah will bend her right knee back into the chest, hugging it back in, and then placing her right ankle bone on her left quad. For figure 4 stretch, an outer hip stretch, maybe even an inner hip stretch. So she's flexing her foot. This is an important part. It fires up the shin muscles that protect the knee joint. If there's some inconsistency between the placement of the ankle and the hip, the knee's going to take that torque. So we don't want to put the knee in any danger. For many of us, just by simply putting our right hand on our right knee and pushing the knee towards the wall, that's going to be enough work. You might notice that when Mariah starts to put her hand underneath, that the hip pops up. So instead of doing that, we'll try to really keep that left hip towards the wall. You might even take your own left hand to your own left hip, root that hip towards the wall, and then press the right knee towards the wall as well. Good. You stay here for as many breaths as it feels okay, that you can breathe deeply, and that you're creating some space. If you need greater resistance, if this is not enough work, she could bend her left leg, plant her foot on the wall, get a little more resistance, push the knee away, flexing the foot, and finding a little more work in that outer right hip. If you went here, but your butt lifted off the ground, it's too far. So just back the leg back off the wall and make your way back to the more supported, stable position. Okay. When you're done, you'll hug the right knee back into the body and extend the leg back up the wall. Of course, it's important to do both sides, so we'll hug the left knee in, just hugging it into the chest. Moving towards the hamstring stretch, grabbing onto the back of the left leg. Being mindful to flex the right foot. Rooting that left sit bone towards the wall, kicking the leg towards the ceiling, and finding a place that works for you. the body's going to always seek the path of least resistance. So you have to really train yourself to be mindful and aware of the places that you tend to be tight and the ways that the body's trying to compensate. Hugging the left knee back into the body. And then moving to the hip stretch. Figure 4 stretch. Both feet stay flexed, left toes flexed as well. Pressing the knee towards the wall. If you need more, bend the right leg. Drag the right heel down the wall just gently. And then find a little more resistance. Straightening the right leg back up. Right leg first, then releasing the left leg, hugging it in. Of course, it's great to end by hugging both knees into the belly. Drawing in, flexing the feet, even creating a little resistance here. Then softening back in, rocking side to side. You can make your way over onto one side. And then mindfully, slowly sort of scooch yourself away from the wall and attempt to make your way up to seated.